MFA updates.
Sawadika, welcome to MFA Update with me, Panik Nisha Grairuk. This is a weekly program that focuses on Thailand's international affairs and activities. Today, we welcome Her Excellency Mrs. Makhwadi Sumitma, the Ambassador of Thailand to Bangladesh. Her Excellency will inform us about the 50th anniversary of Thailand-Bangladesh diplomatic relations.
The foreign affairs that matter. Special guests from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. This is the MFA updates.
สวัสดีค่ะคุณมาคาวดี Nice to talk to you.
สวัสดีค่ะคุณพนิกนิชา It's a pleasure to be speaking with you and thank you for having me in your program.
This year, as we know that marks the 50th anniversary of diplomatic ties between Thailand and Bangladesh. So what are the highlights in our relations and cooperation?
Thank you for your question. Thailand was one of the first friends to formally welcome Bangladesh to the family of nations on the 16th of February 1972 before establishing diplomatic relations on the 5th of October the same year. And Thailand opened its embassy in Dhaka in 1973 and Bangladesh set up its mission in Bangkok in 1975. However, our linkages could be traced back many centuries. We have shared roots and connections in our languages, culture, and religions. And since our formal ties were forged in 1972, the relations have been cordial and widened for the mutual benefits of the people. I would like to start with the exchange of high-level visits, which happened even before Bangladesh became independent. Back in March 1962, Their Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej the Great and Queen Sirikit the Queen Mother visited Dhaka and Chittagong. And His Majesty King Mahawachiralongkorn Phrawachirakrao Chao Yuhua traveled to Bangladesh in 1992 when he was the Crown Prince. So this year marks the 60th and the 30th anniversary of these royal visits, and the embassy is publishing special articles in Thai, English, and Bengali to commemorate occasion. Her Royal Highness Princess Mahachakri Sirinthorn visited Bangladesh 3 times and has a number of projects under her royal patronage in Bangladesh, such as the Children and Youth Development Project in 2 elementary schools, the Learning Center of Sufficiency Economy Philosophy, and the Vegetable Glass Demonstration Center in Chittagong. The first president of Bangladesh to visit Thailand in 1979 was President Siu Rahman, and from the Thai side, General Prem Tinasuranon was the first Prime Minister to visit Bangladesh in 1983. So this year marks the golden jubilee of our diplomatic relations. Both sides look forward to exchanging more visits at all levels.
So what are the major products that Thailand and Bangladesh are trading? I think many people would be curious about this.
Currently, Bangladesh is the 3rd largest trade partner of Thailand in South Asia after India and Pakistan. The value of bilateral trade stood at $1.2 billion in 2021, a 40% increase from 2020. And major export products from Bangladesh to Thailand are textile, leathers, fish, and crustaceans. Bangladesh is one of the world's second largest exporters of ready-made garments. They manufacture products for several international fashion brands in the global market. And meanwhile, Thailand's export items to Bangladesh include plastic pellets, refined oil, clinker, fabrics, and chemicals, which are in high demand. You would like to know about clinker. Clinker is a substance for making cement, and Thailand is one of the suppliers for Bangladesh. The market for construction materials is very promising because Bangladesh is upgrading their infrastructure. Many projects are going on or in the pipeline, like the expansion of the Dhaka International Airport, the new elevated expressway, and the new metro lines in Dhaka. And in terms of investment, many Thai companies set up business in Bangladesh decades ago, such as Jalern Pokapan Group, Italian Thai Development, SCG, and Siam City Cement. The Thai private sector has been chosen by the Bangladeshi government to construct the first Dhaka elevated expressway and the first metro line in Dhaka. In Thailand, several Bangladeshi restaurants can be found on Sukhumvit Road. A number of Bangladeshi real estate business persons and entrepreneurs also come to Thailand frequently to meet their counterparts.
Thank you very much. Are there any projects and joint activities to celebrate the 50th anniversary of diplomatic relations?
Yes, a series of celebratory events will be organized throughout the year. It starts with the second Thailand-Bangladesh bilateral consultation that was held on the 1st of March in Bangkok. The meeting was co-chaired by the Permanent Secretary of Foreign Affairs of Thailand and the Foreign Secretary of Foreign Affairs of Bangladesh. Discussion highlights include the 50th anniversary of bilateral relations, trade and investment, ASEAN-related matters, and people-to-people contacts. At the meeting, the commemorative logo for this occasion was officially launched. It showed the number 50 in Thai and Bengali with gold borderline, signifying the golden jubilee of relations. Actually, the way of writing number 5 in Thai and Bengali is not that identical, but parts of them have similar structure. Our national flags are also part of the logo, and this logo is jointly designed by the Royal Thai Embassy in Dhaka and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Bangladesh. And to enhance understanding between the people, the embassy is publishing series of short articles in English and Bengali called Thailand in 50 Tales to point out Thai ways of life that share similarities with Bengali culture, and the article called Thailand in 50 Tunes to present Thailand through Thai music. And for the Thai audience, we have Thai Put Di, Bengali Put Dai. It's a series of articles that explore interesting similarities and connection between Thai and Bengali languages. Apart from this, the embassy will organize an event called Falling in Love with Thai Food to promote Thai food, and will organize a seminar on a selected topic about trade and investment, or maybe about medical tourism. We will also run a photo competition to celebrate linkages between Thai and Bengali ways of life, and a video clip contest encouraging the young generation to present Bangladesh from their perspective to attract more Thai tourists to visit Bangladesh.
Interesting. This 50th anniversary of bilateral relations is the momentous occasion to take our ties to a new height. What should be our priority areas to make it more meaningful?
Yes, people-to-people exchange is the foundation of bilateral relations. We should promote deeper mutual understanding at the people-to-people level, and cultural interactivity could enable Thais and Bangladeshi to feel more acquainted with each other. And this kind of interaction may take time to develop, but it will be a long-lasting foundation for our friendship.
Mm-hmm. Bangladesh is strategically located between South Asia and Southeast Asia. So how can Thailand and Bangladesh take advantage from that?
There are two keywords here, gateway and connectivity. The objective of these concepts is to improve the transport of goods and passengers across borders. So when we apply this to Bangladesh, which is just next door to Myanmar, it is apparent that Bangladesh can serve as a gateway to South Asia, especially to India, Bhutan, and Nepal. Bangladesh has three main ports, namely Chittagong, Mongla, and Paira, and 90% of Bangladeshi trade is shipped through Chittagong port. Surprisingly, there is no direct sea transport routes between Bangladesh and Thailand. Shipments have to transit through Singapore or Sri Lanka, which will take about 2 weeks. So we are now trying to set up a direct coastal shipping route between Ranong Port and Chittagong Port. The new route will reduce cost and duration of shipments from 2 weeks to only less than 5 days. An MOU on cooperation between the two ports was signed last December, and the relevant authorities are discussing details to realize these shipping services. And for air travel, the international airport in Dhaka is constructing the new terminal to accommodate about 20 million passengers every year and receive more flights. So this means that there could be more flights between Bangkok and Dhaka by Thai Airways or other Thai airlines or any other airlines. And for land travel, Bangladesh is interested to join the Trilateral Highway project, which links India, Myanmar, and Thailand. Once it is completed, it will help boost trade and improve mobility between mainland Southeast Asia and South Asia. Thailand and Bangladesh can also work together on connectivity through regional cooperation framework, particularly BIMSTEC. Our two countries are members of BIMSTEC, and Thailand will assume BIMSTEC chairmanship after the summit meeting in Colombo at the end of this month.
Thank you. Could you tell us more about Bangladesh in the aspects that are not widely known to the public?
As I mentioned earlier, Thailand and Bangladesh share many things in common. It's surprising knowledge for me to learn that Thai and Bangla or Bengali languages share a lot of similarities through Sanskrit and Bali. Another cultural link is the traditional New Year celebration, while 13 to 15 of April marks Songkran festival for Thais, and for Bengalis, they also celebrate their traditional New Year called Pohela Boishak in the same period. The first day in the Bengali calendar is also 14 April. Buddhism forms another bond between Thailand and Bangladesh. Although Bangladesh is a Muslim majority country, there are traces of Buddhism in Bengali civilization because Buddhism flourished in this area more than 2,000 years ago. There are about 2 million Buddhists in Bangladesh, which have close connection with the Buddhist community in Thailand. Most of them live in Chittagong, and several monks come to study in Thailand, mainly in Mahachulalongkorn. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand has also offered royal Katin robes from His Majesty the King to temples in Bangladesh many times already.
How did the COVID-19 situation affect the work of the embassy and the cooperation between Thailand and Bangladesh?
During the pandemic, there was no direct commercial flight between Bangkok and Dhaka, like the same as anywhere. The Royal Thai Embassy worked closely with the Bangladeshi authority and the Embassy of Bangladesh in Bangkok to organize, we call special flights at least once a month to repatriate Thai and Bangladeshi stranded due to the pandemic. From April 2020 to November 2021, the Royal Thai Embassy organized 21 flights and can facilitate about 1,000 Thais from Bangladesh to go back home, while the Embassy of Bangladesh arranged 17 flights from Bangkok. And the Bangladeshi authorities also provide COVID-19 vaccination to a number of Thai nationals residing in Bangladesh. So we are very thankful for that.
Many countries are preparing to resume to the normal mode in the daily life and in carrying out the usual activities to revive economic growth in the post-COVID-19 phase. So what is the prospect for the cooperation between Thailand and Bangladesh in the near future?
In the post-COVID world, I believe more countries will give priority to sustainability and resilience from disruptions like pandemic and climate change. Thailand has adopted the Biocircular Green Economy or BCG economic model as the underlying concept for national development. We plan to be more innovative driven and go greener to make the Thai economy more value-based and sustainable. This corresponds to Bangladesh's priority of policy to reduce the impact from climate change. So I think we both can forge a green partnership to exchange best practices and organize capacity building activities. And on trade, I think we need to diversify our export basket to make it more balanced and reach the trade target of $2 billion. And in order to increase two-way trade volume, Thailand has offered we call duty-free and quota-free or the DFQF market access to Bangladeshi products until 2026. And both sides are now exploring the possibility to negotiate a free trade agreement or FTA. Bangladesh is a sizable market with almost 170 million people, very huge, and a continued GDP growth rate averaging 6% a year over the past decade already. The potential sector for Thai investors are agro-industry, textile, energy, and tourism. Bangladesh has plenty of agricultural products and seafood that are excellent raw materials for food processing. Both Bangladeshi government agencies and private companies are very keen to learn from the expertise of Thailand in this area.
You mentioned earlier that Thailand is the popular tourist destination for Bangladeshis. So how can we promote tourism after the COVID-19 situation is resolved?
Yes, Thailand is the most favorite destination for Bangladeshi travelers. In 2019, that's before the COVID, before the pandemic, about 140,000 Bangladeshi visited Thailand for tourism and about 4,000 coming for medical treatment. They generated about 6.7 billion baht to the Thai economy. They are the second largest market in South Asia. So right now, the Tourism Authority of Thailand is working actively to re-engage with travelers in Bangladesh. And last week, TAT organized a networking lunch in Dhaka to update information on tourism in Thailand. And when we are talking about cooperation, it should be two ways. In 2019, there are only about 5,000 Thais come to visit Bangladesh, mostly for work purpose. I think we should encourage more Thai tourists to think of Bangladesh as another holiday destination not far from home. There is potential and there is interest, and it will eventually help strengthen people-to-people contact. We could begin with the promotion of Buddhist historical sites in Bangladesh as part of the Buddhist circuit that is connected with India, Nepal, Bhutan, and Sri Lanka to attract more pilgrims and travelers.
Thank you for joining me in this program. Thank you very much to get to know more about Bangladesh and the bilateral relations between Thailand and Bangladesh.
Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to share and update information on relations between Thailand and Bangladesh. And I hope the audience will join us to celebrate this special occasion on our diplomatic relations. Once again, thank you for having me on your program. ขอบคุณค่ะ
That was Her Excellency Mrs. Makhawadi Sumitmo, the Ambassador of Thailand to Bangladesh, discussing the 50th anniversary of Thailand-Bangladesh diplomatic relations. Don't forget to follow the YouTube channel MFA Thailand and Facebook page FM88 Radio Thailand English for more updates. That's it for MFA Update today. I'm Kimmy or Kim Panik Nisha Grairuk. So see you again until next time. สวัสดีค่ะ
MFA updates.